How could you do this to me? My husband has asked me that question countless times. Every time it leaves me speechless. If you love me so much, how could you hurt me like this? The truth is, I don't know how to answer him. No matter how I try, no explanation feels right. Not even to myself. There's no reasoning that makes sense, no justification that fits. I do love him more than anything. Every day that he chooses to stay, I am in awe of his strength. But he doesn't know everything. He only saw a single message. A romantic text exchange with another man. That was enough to break him. And yet, the truth is so much worse. The affair had been going on for over 4 months before he discovered it. We had been together intimately, more times than I want to admit. My affair partner was charming, endlessly romantic. And at the time I was mesmerized by the attention. But when the truth came to light, the illusion shattered. I saw everything differently. Now, I carry the weight of my actions as a shameful burden, one my husband still doesn't fully know about. Why did I do it? I don't know. I could blame my unhappiness, my exhaustion, or my resentment. But millions of people in struggling relationships don't cheat. So why did I? That question terrifies me because I don't have a real answer. Any excuse I give feels hollow, self-serving. Before all this, I believed I was a good person. Insecure maybe. Struggling with self-worth certainly. But still good. Now I see myself differently and I can't ignore it. The selfishness, the cowardice, the betrayal of someone who gave me his whole heart. It horrifies me. The woman I was during the affair isn't someone I recognize. And yet she was me. And I have to live with that. I've tried to rebuild my self-worth. But it feels impossible. Every time someone calls me a good person, a good wife, I flinch. My mind screams otherwise. If only they knew. It feels like I'm living a lie. Pretending to be someone worthy of kindness, respect, love. But deep down I don't believe I am. Recently, my husband said something that stayed with me. You can't undo it. But you can decide what kind of person you'll be from now on. You can choose integrity. I'm holding on to that. Because even though I can't change my past, I can still decide what comes next. I don't want to be a coward anymore. I don't want to be the kind of person who destroys the one she loves most. But the guilt is suffocating. There's a part of me that wants to confess everything, so no one ever mistakenly believes I am better than I am. Every time I meet someone new, I feel the urge to tell them the truth, just so they don't think I'm a good person. That's how deep the shame runs. It overshadows everything else about me. And yet, despite all of this, my husband is still here. I can't fathom his strength. How can someone so wounded still see the humanity in me? How can he look at me with even a fraction of compassion when I can barely stand to look at myself? I admire him more than words can express. He's the braver one. The stronger one. I know I will carry this with me forever. Not the same pain he feels, it never could be. But a constant gnawing reminder of what I destroyed. Every time he smiles or laughs, I remember how close I came to losing him. My goal is simple, to become better. Someone he can trust again. Someone who earns his love instead of clinging desperately to it. I will never stop trying to prove that I can change. Even if I can never fully make up for what I've done. I should have confessed long ago. But I was too afraid to face the truth. And now it might be too late. He told me he wants out. That he regrets everything, including having children with me. That the only reason he hasn't left yet is because of them. Hearing those words broke something inside me. I've hurt him so deeply that he no longer sees anything good in the life we built together. He looks at me as if I'm poison. The pain I caused him is written all over his face. I've been trying to hold myself together. The guilt, the shame, the self-loathing, it's overwhelming. But I have to stay strong for our children. They didn't ask for any of this. The least I can do is be a steady presence for them. Some days, though, it feels impossible. I've had moments of despair. Thoughts I'm not proud of. But I know I have to push through. I've started therapy. It's a small step, but at least it's something. I've been in a dark place for so long. And instead of facing my issues, I escaped into something that only made things worse. I love my husband more than anything. And I know that makes no sense. Not after what I did. My actions don't reflect the love I feel. And that's something I'm struggling to reconcile. If I truly loved him, how could I have done this? It's a question that haunts me every day. At first, he said he might consider couples therapy. But now, the more I apologize, the further away he drifts. We barely speak except about the children. We share a house, a bed, but there is an impenetrable wall between us. I don't know how to fix this. And I'm terrified I've already lost him forever. For now, I've decided to focus on being the best mother I can be. It's the only thing keeping me going. I owe it to my children to show up for them. But deep down I still hold on to hope. Hope that, over time, I might earn a second chance. I don't expect forgiveness. But I want to prove, through my actions, not just my words, that I am not the same person who betrayed him. I owe him that much. Yet, living under the same roof as someone I've devastated is excruciating. Every interaction is like walking on broken glass. I don't know where to go from here. And then yesterday, he handed me divorce papers. Felt final. Overwhelming. But part of me knew it was coming. Things had been unraveling for weeks. And yesterday, it all came to a head. When he came home, he was furious. He called me a liar again. Said all the things he's been saying for months now. But this time he said it was over. That he couldn't even stand to look at me anymore. He told me to leave our room. I went to the guest room, but I couldn't let it end like that. I knocked on his door, desperate to talk. When he opened it, he was livid. He started yelling, and when I stood my ground, he pushed me. I don't know why I snapped, but for the first time I fought back. I told him I wouldn't have cheated if he hadn't been such a terrible husband. I regret those words more than anything. I've never spoken to him like that before. I've always taken the blame because I do deserve it. But in that moment I lashed out. This morning I tried to apologize. I told him I didn't mean it, that I was just angry and hurt. But he didn't care. He called me a liar again. Said last night was my fault for not de-escalating. I've apologized so many times I've lost count. But he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear anything from me. I don't know what to do anymore. Feel broken. And I know he does too. I've reached the end of this chapter. And I am terrified of what comes next.